Welcome everybody to the Pirate Skills meetup on June 17th, 2020, where we have a chance to nerd out about the best tools in growth marketing available in 2020. If you want to get all the resources from this meetup, go to getpirateskills.com/marketing-stack. You can download the slides, you can download the videos. I really try to make it as convenient as possible for you to get the knowledge, implement it into your real life business. So the plan for today is to first of all start talking about the strategy behind the tool stack. You cannot just punch tools together and hope that they are working well together. Then we're going to focus on three categories of tools. First of all, the tools to acquire new customers, tools to engage, and then tools to analyze the customer journey. And at the end, we have, as always, the big Q&A section where we can just go deep into your personal questions, and you always have a chance to ask them through Slido. So a little bit about me. I'm Ben. I'm the founder of Pirate Skills. I consider Pirate Skills to be my startup number 8. I started in 2008 and could not stop since then. Fully committed to this entrepreneurial career path, if you want to call it like that. And yeah, as Matti picked out a nice fun fact about me, I'm right now subscribed to about 50 different software as a services, plugins, kind of stuff. I'm trying all the tools so you don't have to. I think our subscriptions rack up more than 2K a month from time to time. Now we quit some and then it's lower, then we add some more, and then it might be a bit higher. But trying those tools over a long period of time has really given me a great perspective on what is good, what is bad, and especially what is right in which situation. And because I'm not a fan of just saying this tool is the best and you have to go for it, but to look at each person's situation and say like, oh yeah, you're the right candidate for MailChimp, while you're the right one for HubSpot. Maybe you're in the middle and need ActiveCampaign. Let's talk about that in a moment. Okay, so the first part is all about the strategy behind the growth marketing stack. I really consider this to be a big chess game. Yeah, I love chess. It's my favorite mind sport besides Go. And all of the growth marketing I do always feels a bit like a chess game, because I'm always asking the question, what is the biggest move? I always have many opportunities, many tools, but I can usually choose only one for each function. I have to make a decision on one CRM, on one email tool, on one messenger bot for WhatsApp, for example. And if I try to use too many tools for one function, it might get really confusing. So the fundamental idea I try to always convey with all of the meetups, all of the growth marketing stuff is the following. All we're doing is try to get customers more smoothly through the customer journey of your business. Here you can see we need to acquire people, we need to activate them, we need to keep them around, which is called retention. We need to ask them for referrals, and we need to make more money with them than they cost us in the first place. And that is also the fundamental difference to me from like the old school marketer to the growth marketer. While in the good old days, it was enough to just fill the funnel from the top. Just put more and more people here at the top, and we don't care what happens afterwards. That's the responsibility of the product team. Not anymore. The growth marketer is responsible for the user flow. The CFO is responsible for the cash flow, growth marketer for the user flow. It starts at acquisition, but it ends at customer lifetime value. So I'm always very eager to be able to compare, how do my different campaigns work? What is the customer lifetime value from somebody coming from Facebook compared to email, compared to SEO? And that's all we're trying to do. We are looking for tools that help us get people more smoothly through the customer journey. But it's seriously gotten crazy out there. I don't know if you noticed, but there are more tools coming out pretty much every day for everything. Here is the craziest map of them all. It's done by Chief Market, and this is a tool of the most popular 5,000 marketing tools. If you read the article that I linked below, they say like, yeah, it's actually 8,000, but who's counting? Yeah. So each of those areas represent one area of marketing. Let's zoom in a little bit and see. So the red one up here, that is all the tools about advertising and promotion. The orange one is about content marketing, this one here. And these are all the social media tools. Imagine how crazy this is. Yeah. Then we have the data tools in blue. We have the e-commerce tools up here in the right corner. And it's gotten to a point where you have to make decisions about which tools to choose, and that you need some kind of way to decide if this is right for me and what's not. So I'm trying to give you my best practices, my guideposts, what I'm looking for in growth marketing tools when I'm picking out something new. The first one that is most important to me is that the tools have to work smoothly together. I will absolutely skip out on a feature in one tool if it's not working smoothly with the rest of my tools. In this slide, I show you a graph that is from the website of segment.com. Segment is is a great tool that connects all kinds of other tools together. You can start with your mobile app, with your website, with a cloud server, anything really, and use it as a data source. And then it's going to be synchronized to your Google Analytics. But this is also going to send stuff to Slack, and Slack is again sending stuff back to the data, to other data sources. And that is really the magic of the tools who are working great together smoothly. You don't have to worry about, oh, is this data set updated already? Or we have this silo over there, but we don't know if it's up to date for the sales process that we're trying to get going. Very frequent problem is that there is, for example, no connection to the support and sales. So people from sales are asking, calling people, and they are not aware that they're currently having customer support problems. All that kind of stuff really leaves a lot of money on the table and cause a lot of headaches if you think about scaling your business. Yeah, but this is my first criterion. Dear tool, are you working smoothly? A good signal for a tool working smoothly with others if they have a pretty open API that is a way for developers to connect with that tool. If they are supported by a tool like Segment or Zapier, this is already a strong signal that they are willing to not isolate their own data, but willing to connect with other data sources. So it has seriously become a criterion for me that is it compatible with Segment? Is it compatible with Zapier? Because it's just a good signal that they are willing to share data with other tools. So the second most difficult decision, I think, is do you want to go all in one or best of breed? So all tools out there for growth marketing don't only do one job. The extreme on the all-in-one side would be HubSpot. Yeah, so this is HubSpot, and they represent the ultimate all-in-one marketing tool. They are great at marketing, doing CRM, landing pages, email, automation, all that good stuff, lead scoring. Then they are good at sales. They have a good sales pipeline, rotations between salespeople, all that good stuff. Then they have support, and you can integrate all of those tools. You have one data source of truth. And if you are a pretty big company or can't be bothered with connecting the other tools by other means, then you are best served with an all-in-one solution. But you need to step in with a certain commitment. Of course, there are always like incentives for the first year, but I think HubSpot, for most cases, and if you don't go for the super light version, it's like $600 a month and above. But if you're in B2B, for example, this is not a lot of money. So it's very much worth taking good care of your customers. The other decision, the other side of this decision is the best of breed tools. So we have WordPress, we have MailChimp, we have Salesforce. WordPress is one of the best ones in landing page building, email. We have MailChimp, it's highly discussable if that's the best. and we're Salesforce for sales. And they all do the job much better than HubSpot does it. Yeah, it's a better website builder, it's a better email tool, it's a better sales tool. But you are now responsible for connecting those tools and to keep them aligned. Yeah, so if you don't want to do this, go for HubSpot. If you are like me and you prefer to try different tools and not to get too locked into one system, then you're better served with the best of breed approach. The third component is that I want to optimize for learning, not for scaling yet. Most of us who are listening and who are part of the Pirate Skills community are not yet billion-dollar companies. Or if you're working in a big company like AXA, Aon, DHL, you're usually, if you're interested in the Pirate Skills stuff, you are in the innovation sector, you're starting a new project that doesn't have the scale of multi-million-dollar budgets. So at this scale, it is infinitely more important to optimize for learning. Is this tool going to help me learn more about my customer, learn how the customer journey is working for my audience? I don't need it to be the perfect tool that is working at $1 million a month at budget. Yeah, and I want focus that I can learn about three very important parts of this journey. It is acquiring customers, engaging, and analyzing. Why are those three so important? This is the natural customer journey. As a marketer, I think in the lean startup world, which you might be familiar with, the book by Eric Ries really made it popular to build this build, measure, learn cycle. Yeah, and it keeps on. You build a little tool, then you measure what the people are doing with it, you learn something out of it, and then you keep on building. You keep this agile circle running. And I think acquire, engage, analyze is the growth marketer equivalent of that. So what we try to do is we acquire people, we want to engage them, we want to analyze, we want to keep on getting more people in the funnel or smoother through the funnel. We are fundamentally interested in lowering the cost per acquisition and raising the customer lifetime value. That is our job. And in this cycle, yeah, it works really well. So that's why we're looking at those three segments or three categories of tools in the upcoming parts of this video. So let's sum up. You need a clear strategy behind a tool. You cannot just mesh them together. You need to make them run smoothly together. You need to optimize for learning, and you need to make a decision if you want to go best of breed or all in one. And then you're ready to make a decision on the upcoming parts of this. I hope you like this. If you enjoyed this so far and you want to ask some questions, then now you have the chance to go to slido.com and enter R or scan in this code, and you can ask questions, and we can check if there are already some questions who have come in. So I see we still have the 2 questions that were already there in the beginning, and we have 44 people who are currently live on YouTube. So I want to encourage all of you who are watching this live now, make this meetup your thing. Yeah. Start asking questions. So I really hope the 44 people on YouTube, and I don't know how many are on Facebook, to start engaging a bit more heavily. Yeah, it makes it so much more worthwhile for you. And if you think it's worthwhile what you have listened to so far, then please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. The fastest way to get there is getpirateskills.com/YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and like this video. This really helps out for us to grow. I think we must have hit the 300 subscriber, which is really not much at the moment. Yeah, but so if all of you would subscribe, it would be a 10-20% increase of our subscriber base, which would be awesome. All right. Tools for organic and paid acquisition. I think I don't get a question more frequently asked than what is the right tool to get more customer into your user base. The first thing I think everybody needs is to have an extremely easy to use, fast and mobile friendly website builder. If you look at our workshop landing page, www.pirateskills.com/workshops, you can see that it's built with WordPress in this case. You can notice that by here. You can see the bar at the top that tells you. And I use a plugin called Oxygen, which lets me really easily use that. But why do I think this is so important, even though it's a very, very basic tool? The problem is this. I ask people, yeah, can we please build a landing page for this and that? We have this idea for an audience. We have an idea for a lead magnet. And they tell me, yeah, I have to ask my development team and maybe they have time for this in 3 weeks. And 2 months later, we're still talking about if the development team still has time for that because they are busy building features and fixing bugs in the main product. So what I want all of us to be able to do is to do it for ourselves. We can't wait for agencies to do this. This is, of course, to get the first template, to get the first design. Please get help. It really took me a long time to understand that I needed help in the initial setup, yeah, especially for the design. But then using it, that needs to be absolutely your own thing. So do not settle down until you have a website builder. It doesn't need to be WordPress. Yeah, it could be Wix, it could be Squarespace, it could be completely custom built. But the requirement I have for any website builder is that somebody who's not a programmer can open up an editor and do this. They can just tap on an item, yeah, like this here. You can see that I just marked this call to action button, and they can just simply change the text. They can change this image. They can change the text here above the call to action button. If that is not possible for a non-techie in your team, for example, somebody who's also doing helping you out with social media, then your website builder is still too complicated. Don't settle down on this particular part. Your website is the door to your product, and you are the marketer responsible for getting people through the door. Don't let anybody take this capability away from you. We at Pirate Skills, we have made a decision to now move again to WordPress plus Oxygen. So let me give you a few tools and alternatives. And again, if you want to download these slides, we will share the link in the Discord and under the YouTube video and the Facebook channel. And you can simply press on those links. Yeah, for example, let me show you. This is the link for Oxygen, in case you're asking, like, what is this amazing Oxygen thing? And you can see that it's a website builder and it's built on top of WordPress, and it just makes working with WordPress so much easier than stock WordPress. You can simply add items, buttons, change the text, just what I was saying. And if you have the slides downloaded, the PDF, then all of those links are easily clickable. There are two main website builders I would suggest. Elementor is the better one for ease of use. It is a bit more user-friendly, it's a bit more drag and droppy. Oxygen have I chosen because of page speed, and I like the pricing model. It's just a one-time payment and you don't have to worry about paying for it each year. And that's what I really like. And it's you notice that it's focused on people who care about performance marketing. And while it's not as easy to use as Elementor, it's like 20% worse. Yeah. Okay, but let's say WordPress is not possible in your circumstances, or you want something really dedicated just for landing page building. What is the right tool then? Then we have landing page building tools that also have stuff like A/B testing built right into it. My favorite one here by far is Instapage. Instapage also works really great if you are doing paid advertising. Their integration with Google and Facebook ads is simply amazing. The way they map each ad to a single landing page and how they cope with personalization and collaborating as a team on the same landing page. I don't think I've seen anything in that user experience area. It's pretty pricey, I would say. There is the business, which comes at $149 per year, monthly, yeah, but it's billed annually. If you go to the monthly price, it's $199. So this is only reasonable if you spend more like 2,000 euro per month on ads. Then it's absolutely a no-brainer, because your landing pages only need to be 10% better than your normal ones to make that money back. And it is highly likely that they're going to be 20, 30, 40% better. Yeah, and you're going to have more of them. This is the best landing page builder. The problem is a little bit, if you outgrow this and you need to switch to the enterprise, then it quickly becomes quite expensive, but maybe you're an enterprise and that's your thing. Another tool as an alternative is Unbounce. It's very powerful. It has some of the strongest A/B testing capabilities. For example, if you want to measure effects on several steps in a funnel, like your lead, your lead magnet, then they do something else, you can easily do a multivariate testing and see step-by-step conversion rate optimizations there. If you want to keep it simple as possible, go for just a WordPress website with Elementor or Oxygen, yeah, and then if you need dedicated tools, that's absolutely possible. So if you're wondering, like, WordPress, isn't it slow? My website that I just showed you, this one here, is loading at 0.8 seconds. If you want to try this, go to pirateskills.com. Maybe can do a live demonstration of how fast this is. Let me see. Open in WordPress. Zack, there it is. Yeah, it's just there. Yeah, and I have not visited this page before on my iPad, as you can see, because I'm asked for the cookie consent plugin, which is from WordPress, which is the Borlabs cookie plugin, my favorite cookie acceptance tool. Let's accept everything. This is super fast stuff. All right, let's go back to the presentation. So, as I said, no compromises on the website builder. It is absolutely key. The second part, once you have a website, is you need to get traffic to your website. And one of the sources of traffic is, of course, SEO, yeah, and social media. And I still keep hearing lots of startups who are focusing on SEO without the proper understanding of how much commitment it takes today to rank good, and that there are so many better opportunities out there. If you look at all of the big Shopify stores, for example, right now in e-commerce scenarios, Google biggest Shopify stores, and look what their business is built on. It is not SEO. It is built on influencer marketing. It is built on social media. It is built on other channels. That's why I always say, create awesome content for your audience, which is 80% for the user and 20% for Google. Yeah, and that way you still win out on Google, because the biggest factor at the moment is definitely the content, the on-page quality. And if you're in a highly competitive market, yes, you need to also do some link building. So I packed up some tools for this as well. If you want to keep an eye on your SEO development over time, the basic tool to use, because it is the only source of truth, is the Search Console. The Search Console is provided by Google. It shows you how often your website showed up in the search results. There is no source like that available anywhere else. And all of these other tools are always asking, can I please get access to the Search Console? So getting Search Console set up with your Google Analytics, that's always the basic thing to do if you want to see how much traffic you're getting from Google, from which keywords, yeah, and how are your rankings developing. But since it is just a very basic tool, They have developed many more advanced tools with that. Two of the biggest, I would say, all-in-one solutions are Moz and Sistrix. I would prefer Moz in an international settings and Sistrix in a German setting, even though Sistrix also supports many different other languages. Yeah, but I wouldn't consider Sistrix if I would start at a US startup and focus there on SEO. Then there's a great tool called Write. I had the luck to drive in the same car from the airport in Slovenia to the conference where we both were speaking at a conference about growth marketing. And this guy had so many amazing ideas here. I'm talking about the founder of Write. So many amazing ideas and new perspectives and view on SEO. And they built a tool. It was used to be called onpage.org. Maybe you're familiar with that. Now it's called Write. And it's the best one for me for on-page optimization. What does it mean? It scans your website. You enter pirateskills.com in my case, and it literally gives you a checklist of what to fix, yeah, to have better rankings. I think their slogan is great. It's like your website, just better. And the last one I would like to mention is SEMrush. It's a bit more of a search engine marketing tool, SEM, but I really love using it for SEO as well because I can do some competitive research on the free version and I can see what keywords are my competitors ranking for, which always gives me great inspiration for keywords. So these are 5 tools I wanted to share with you if you want to keep an eye on your SEO development. Then let's say you have got your website cover and you did your 20% SEO magic that is working for you. Now today, the biggest driver by far, yeah, for traffic is social media. You need to create and publish compelling content on a regular basis. We recently talked about in a meetup about LinkedIn Content Magic, which gives you like a complete content marketing plan for LinkedIn, but you can easily transfer that to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram. Yeah, so these 6 ones are my favorite social networks. It's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. Yeah, let's see what TikTok is doing in the future, but those 6 are the ones I would always consider. Pinterest, especially if you're focusing on very graphical stuff and maybe with a demographic focus on women. Yeah, LinkedIn is the place to be at the moment for everything B2B. Facebook is the universal one that you need to learn. Instagram is the up and coming Facebook. Twitter is only for specific niches for tech, journalism, social media. That's great. And YouTube is, in my opinion, the most underestimated social media platform out there is. You somehow are either a YouTube person or not. You're watching it and it took over your social media life, or you don't have any touch point with Google. But the power and the reach you can get on Google, it's just amazing. So what tools can help us to build better content? I think it's completely boring to just go through your normal, this is the topics I'm going to talk about. You need to find something that has Zeitgeist, yeah, as we say in Germany, Zeitgeist. You need to find something that is trending, and where are the places that really shows you that? My favorite one is Google Trends. It also has a data stories section to it, which always has really up-to-date stories that are visualized by data. First of all, this is great content. Second of all, it always gives you an idea of which topics are currently trending up and down. And you can see, like, for example, what is the number of searches we have seen on the word growth marketing or growth hacking. You can compare those. Yeah, what is better? You can see the up and coming of the pandemic, yeah, very easily over there. Or soccer games, anything you like, you can check out there, and it will show you the trend over time. I think by now up to like 10 years backwards. But what's really interesting is like going 30 days, 7 days backwards and hopping on a trend right there and having that trend validated by data. Another great way, if you want to look back, if you want to find viral articles, is Buzzsumo. Buzzsumo, sorry, I linked the wrong link here. It is buzzsumo.com, obviously, and not this here. And it shows you on any keyword you put in the most shared articles. Let's look. I put in the keyword WordPress page speed, because let's say you are in a web agency focusing on page speed, or that is a topic that you are committed to write about and to be perceived as an authority. You can now look which articles in the past 6 months have been shared the most. So you can see that there are 3 articles suggested here, and you can see the number of times they have been shared on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, yeah, links, evergreen score, all that kind of stuff. So why is this interesting? Let's just read the titles. How to get 100% GT metrics, page speed score, fix slow, blah, blah, blah. This is a super compelling title that you can use yourself, that you can just twist a little bit to give it your idea. How to get 100%. Everybody who is interested in page speed is looking for this 100% score. But we were not sure about that. But this shows this is the most shared article about this. And you can now have something like Lead Magnet, which tells you the 30 steps that guarantee you a 100% score on GT metrics. So that is compelling. The next one is how to reduce your TTFB and boost website page speed. So TTFB is the time it takes for the package from the server to be sent and back. Yeah, so that is something that people are interested in who are optimizing on the server side. And I would have said this is a super nerdy topic, but nope, it's the second most shared article. And as you can see, Twitter, because it's a nerdy topic, picked it up. Yeah, and it was the carrying one. And then it talks about WordPress caching. You see already that we found 3 categories to write about. Tools and measuring tools for page speed and how to get 100%, server speed optimization, and caching. And it's amazing. Like if you do a B2C project, for example, the number of shares usually is not in the hundreds, but on the tenth of thousands. Yeah, if you do anything in fitness, beauty, or so, it is so compelling to read the most shared article titles, and this keeps on generating ideas for myself, for my own projects. Yeah, so I hope you like that. And then if you start creating content, you might be asking what kind of tools are actually helping me, not just getting inspired, but help me with the creation process. I mentioned it a couple of times already, but Canva, I get the best feedback on that if I introduce it to a team. It's always like this, dang, I feel like I'm a graphic designer. And if you get good templates, which they already provide, this tool is just amazing in creating static and slightly animated graphics for social media. It gives you all of the social media sizes just pixel perfect. I really love it. Then the same thing just for the video world is Lumen 5. So Lumen 5 is one of very, very, very many tools that help you to create good video. They are springing up, especially on the iOS and Android devices, like wildfire. I think it is one of the fastest growing categories. So keep a look out, but this is a solid start. Lumen 5 is a paid tool that helps you to create videos without fancy editing tools like Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, and to make it very social media friendly. Video is always something where we used to send it to a team, they come back to you 1 week later, and 3 people have generated 1 video. And these tools, 1 person, part-time, 3 videos per week, no problem. Yeah, that is the big difference. Do you have to make compromises? Of course, yeah. But on social media, I go for quantity to a certain degree first. Yeah, that means I want to have a certain publishing frequency, at the very least 3 times a week. And after I've reached that, I increase the quality. Of course, I want to start at the highest possible quality, but social media rewards the quantity game. And we can't go for the perfectly cinematic look all the time. Yeah, that we need a week to create if we need 3 videos per week. So that is Lumen 5. So then the next most important category of content that you want to produce is Grammarly. And I stopped writing without Grammarly like 2 years ago. Any big article that you're going to see, after this meetup, I'm going to publish the article that accompanies this meetup. You can check it out on LinkedIn and probably our blog. And there you can see that everything has been written with Grammarly. And what does it do for you? It saves you from yourself, from bad language choices, from repetitive words, from punctuation mistakes. All kinds of spelling is being fixed on a different level. This is so much better than the Word and Google Doc correction. You wouldn't believe it. Only limitation it is English only at this point in time. Yeah, but keep checking. Maybe they added some new languages in the meantime when you're watching this. So Grammarly is my favorite tool if you write articles. If you don't like it, then there are many others, like IA Writer. It's a really simplified focusing tool. Draft is great. Yeah, Google Docs is, I think, the most compatible one if you want to write them collaboratively. Okay, now to the fun things. Outgrow. Outgrow is an amazing tool. I have to show it to you. Outgrow helps you to create interactive content pieces, like quizzes, like calculators. And as you can see here, there is a quiz here that you can edit very simply. Here goes the heading, it says. And it asks people for example, monthly or yearly expectation question can come here. And you can ask people to to push the button on a scale, to enter open questions, to have closed questions, and to immediately get an answer based on the inputs they have. If you wanted to program this, it would definitely cost you like 5K for a developer to do this. And you can churn out one of those quizzes a week. Yeah, let me show you the website of Outgrow. Maybe I didn't link it up properly, but let's show you anyways. The domain is outgrow.co, and if you do paid advertising, this pays for itself so quickly, it's pretty mad. Yeah, so this is still the Oxygen one, but here's Outgrow. It's just amazing what you can do without programming, creating polls, chatbots, giveaways, viral marketing campaigns where people can refer other people and they get points for that. It is really fascinating to me how this can be purchased for a small fee per month, and it just empowers you. I mentioned this during one of the native ad meetups, that the New York Times published some data on what was the most viral content on the historic times of the New York Times, and it was quizzes on their website. So this category of tools. So check out Outgrow. Of course, again, there are many different alternatives to these tools. I'm sure you're going to find something that is also available for free, but I always found this quite helpful when I worked with clients. All right, these are really fun ways to create that. And then you want to have like a command and control center where you publish your content, or you can see what happens with the content out there. There are a couple of great tools. Buffer is my baseline tool for publishing on social media. CoSchedule is if you're looking more for the all-in-one with articles. Google Alerts is cool if you want to keep tabs on your product names, on your brand name. So for example, if somebody publishes something with the word Ben Sofyani or Pirate Skills in it, I get an email notification from Google Alerts that something new came up, and that gives me a chance to click and to see what is this source. For example, when I'm mentioned in articles or when I'm in a podcast, Google Alerts tells me about it before the person who done the interview podcast with me. Mention steps it up. Google Alerts is free, and Mention is more like the professional tool. It not only does search, but also social media mention and monitoring. So CoSchedule, just as a little showcase, it's really nice. It gives you this calendar view of your content, and it really helps to flesh out your content calendar for the month and to actually do the publishing through this tool. And if you work in a team, I think if you're also writing regular content in form of articles, not just social media posts, take a look at CoSchedule. Otherwise, Buffer, Hootsuite are probably the simpler choice. Okay. Then social media is not everything. You now need to go hunting. If you're in B2B, it's not enough just to spread the love. You need to start hunting. The LinkedIn Sales Navigator is by far my favorite tool there. It's provided by LinkedIn. It gives you an extremely advanced search where you can, for example, find all of the head of innovations from company with 2,000 to 5,000 headcount with a seniority level of at least VP in the area of Cologne, Bonn. Yeah, and it gives you simply a list of all of those people, and it allows you to make many more connection requests per day. Costs about $70 per month. It is provided by LinkedIn. A tool that is not provided by LinkedIn, and I would normally not recommend, is Linked Helper, but they recently launched a new version of Linked Helper with a new really install app experience for Mac, Windows, and Linux, which I really like. It looks much more sophisticated than the Chrome plugin version, and I'm definitely giving it another chance. What it does, it offers the opportunity to do some automation, but use it with caution. We are all already quite enough annoyed by the people who are sending us automated messages on LinkedIn, right? So don't be that guy. Use it for the tedious, boring stuff. Don't avoid the manual and the personal human interaction with people on LinkedIn. That is the key. Yeah. And then we have tools like Hunter that helps us to find emails. So if I go on Hunter on Safari and I plug in any domain I like, let's say Pirate Skills. I really hope this works now. Pirateskills.com, there we go. It has 4 results. Then it shows me all of the email addresses it has crawled from any kind of website. Yeah, and it even shows me the sources. So my email address is that. If I'm logged in, I can see those emails. Yeah, but let's say the Ben email. Which are all the places where I shared my email to make it more believable? Yeah, to see where this data comes from. And I see that Eventboo, Eventbrite is a great source of that. Then Cologne Startup Safari. Then where's the growth email coming from? Also event listings. Then I even found a misspelling. It's hben@pirateskills.com. And just put in a domain and you will see a number of people. And if you're logged in, it also shows you the LinkedIn account if it found a match on LinkedIn for that, which is really handy. So if you can't remember that email, that is the tool to use. All right. So in my mind, content gives you the credibility. You have your website, your articles, your social media posts. It shows you that you know what you're doing, that what you're talking about makes sense. You're articulate. You have an opinion, a perspective, but it's by far not enough. Now you need to start hunting to get them deals. If you have to make a choice between just going hunting and just content, go for hunting. I'm going to be honest about that. It's going to be more profitable just hunting for deals than doing content. But the combination, that is what we strive for. If you want to master the art of growth marketing, it cannot be one or the other. It has to be both. Cool. Now, if you want to multiply the reach of your of your content, it's very simple. Use the same content marketing platform, just their ad feature. All of those 6 platforms I mentioned before have beautiful advertising suites. I'm particularly interested by what Pinterest has been doing recently on ads. I see incredibly low priced clicks with good conversion rates, and it is underserved. You see that not enough advertisers are yet on Pinterest, so seize that time where it's happening. Yeah, so let's look at some examples. For me, the first go-to tool is Facebook ads. It gives you the ability to post in many different placements. Let's look at some of them. So the Facebook newsfeed is probably the best one of all, followed by the Instagram newsfeed. Those are just, if you scroll down, if you see sponsored posts, this is where you end up. And then there are some weird placements like the marketplace, the feed, the stories. The right side column is only for mobile users, but those 2 placements in the top left, they are absolute quality traffic if you target the right people, and if you have ads that tell people what they are going to get on the other side. So I would say, I call this a tool. Many of you would maybe not agree that this is a simple tool, but investing in the mastery of this tool has been by far had the highest return of investment of any tool I learned. The other tool I mastered before Facebook ads, or where I'm on the journey to master it, this, especially Google ads, has such incredible depth that it's really hard to say that anybody knows everything about it. And it's a very deeply layered product. We have search ads. Search ads are when you type a keyword and you find accompanying ads with that. Let's say you are Googling for a flight to Berlin, then you will find the typical ads from the travel agencies and the search platforms for flights. Shopping campaigns, again, a completely different beast. It is based on a so-called shopping feed from your store. Let's say you have a Shopify store, you can export the whole product list that you have with all of the details, feed it to Google, and it creates dynamic ads based on that shopping feed. You have hardly any other ways to configure those ads but to optimize your shopping feed. And Google does the magic. And I can tell you that this is very often in e-commerce one of the most profitable campaign types available. It is difficult to set up, but once you have it, it's pretty much set it and forget it. Then a huge beast where you can lose a lot of money. Yeah, the display ads. Display ads are the banners that you can see on websites. When you're surfing around and you see Pirate Skills ads, for example, it is through the display campaign. Anybody who has been to a Pirate Skills website and who has consented to the cookies, to use the cookies, will get retargeted ads from Google, from Facebook, and you will see, like, do you want to come to the workshop stuff? That is happening through the display network. The display network is incredibly cheap, but it is so large that you can very easily lose your chips, yeah, while not getting any quality results. With search, you always know people have right now entered a keyword that is relevant to you. They're looking for a flight to Berlin, you offer a flight to Berlin. If you just put a banner, are you looking for a great flight to Berlin, for a cheap flight to Berlin, then you're not sure that they're at this moment caring about it. And that means it's a much more of a shotgun than a laser. So this is where other formats come in, but it has its place. And once you get display ads to work, it is absolutely scalable through the roof. Then my favorite one, the YouTube campaigns. Here you can see it on the right. Maybe you're familiar with the skippable YouTube ads, and they usually are in front of other videos, but they're also discovery ads. If you search something, you will see not only the best search results, but also suggested discoverable videos that have come through the ad platform here. And if I do skippable in-stream ads, people watch the Pirate Skills video for about 5 minutes. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mentioned this before. I've built a data studio report for this to evaluate it. I get more than 3 hours of watch time for every euro I invest in YouTube ads where I promote these videos. All right, and then of course there are the app ads. Yeah, so if you are mobile friendly or if you have an app, then the app campaigns will give you there. And those are, I tell you, 5 completely distinct products within Google Ads, and they are completely different to learn. I would start with the search ads, then graduate to video or display, and then the other ones are specialized campaigns. So I hope this gives you an idea of the 2 biggest advertising platforms and how those tools help you to increase the reach. Yeah, to me, they are just tools like anything else that helps me to acquire new customers. All right, so now we have looked at the strategy and the tools to acquire. And in the next part, we are going to look at how to engage those customers. And if you want to have the slides for all of this, if you maybe jumped in later or looking at this at a later point, when we segmented those videos nicely, you can go to getpirateskills.com/notpersonalization. But what is our link? I think it is marketing-stack. Marketing-stack. Yeah. Instead of personalization. But if you're interested in personalization and A/B testing, you can check that out too. Yeah, and you can see that you can download all of this stuff before. And again, you can ask questions about the stuff that we have already talked about or that you might be interested in. Is this tool right for me or that? You can put it in our Slido. You can, if you go to slido.com and enter the code R, you can see this. Let's jump to Slido for a moment and see, oh yeah, there are already quite some questions, like 6 upvotes on what's your favorite tool for lead generation, the best CRM for long sales cycle. Good one, David. How excited are you about the upcoming IMAX? Very important question. Yeah, it's Monday. Let's hope it really releases. Sorry, this is like an inside joke here. I've been going on about the new IMAX since a couple of weeks now. All right, so please feel free to ask your questions so that we have good, for you, relevant stuff. At the end, we will answer them in order of the upvote. So if you don't have a question, you can still upvote the questions that you are particularly interested in. All right. So tools to convert and engage with your audience. That is the next section that we're going to talk about. While in the first parts of this video, we talked about the strategy and the acquisition tools. Now it's our job to engage them, to get them into a funnel and to have them act. The hardest part, once you have people on your website or once you send out a connection request on LinkedIn, is to get them to interact with you. Nothing is harder. Yeah, we are bombarded by all those messages and we have so many connections everywhere on each platform that it's not enough to just send them to a landing page and accept magic to happen. So what you need at the heart of your customer relationship is a CRM. A CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Software. And at Pirate Skills, we are using ActiveCampaign. And as you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit. This is the dashboard that you can see once you log in. You can see immediately that we have 2,972 people in our database. And you can see that we send some automations. You can see the trends, the different email campaigns that we have scheduled. You can see the preview of the templates. And what I really like here on the right-hand side, let me zoom in properly, you can see the user activity. You can see when people subscribe, when they click through emails, I really love this. It is like a pulse. It shows me stuff is happening. Yeah, on my platform, people are actually getting engaged. So why is a CRM the most important tool after your website? It is the place where you keep track of the people who have made a certain commitment to you. There are only people in the CRM who have willingly decided to be there. They signed up for a lead magnet. They went to an event that you hosted. They already have raised their hand in a way and said, I'm interested in what you are doing. And that means that you captured the lead, and now the journey begins. It is really just the beginning. Now it's our job to build the trust. And we need to see a history of people. We need to see the categories of people who are really most and best matched for the product and the value that we can provide. Only a CRM can give you that. Maybe you can keep 12 clients in your head, but as soon as it goes over 100, you're out of it. So I think the CRM is the tool that I'm most picky about. So I have 3 suggestions in terms of tools for you. MailChimp is a good start as a CRM, and it's an almost always good choice for e-commerce because the e-commerce integration between MailChimp and Shopify stores or WooCommerce and Magento, it's just amazing. Yeah, you can see the complete purchase history. You can segment the email list by customer lifetime value. It's amazing. Yeah, I have no complaints there. For anything else, MailChimp is the simplest way to start. It's easy, it's friendly, the free tier is very generous, up to 2,000 contacts. You can use MailChimp for free. But what if the MailChimp box gets too small? I've been guilty of this many times in the past. I have abused MailChimp as a CRM. You have customer properties, contact properties like first name, last name, address, preferences, interests, groups, tags in which they are. And you can really push this to a certain extent. But at some point, especially if you're interested in building more sophisticated automation workflows, MailChimp can get really confusing and you don't know really who is at what stage in a workflow. And if you try to visualize it, it's madness. It really is madness. And this is where other tools step up. Yeah, ActiveCampaign, I think it's even older than MailChimp. I used to always think it's one of the old good ones. Yeah, but MailChimp is the modern way to go. But then I saw that many people are just copying the tools like the workflow visualization from ActiveCampaign. Yeah, and they have become super modern. I've never been so happy with the CRM. I'm usually bitching and moaning about my shop and about my CRM. It's the first time that I'm not. It's a great fit if you have a B2C or B2P business. B2C should be not super cheap. Yeah, but if you have stuff with like maybe 50 euro average basket size, then ActiveCampaign easily pays for itself. And in B2B, it scales up to the moon. And it's not just email. With MailChimp, it's an email tool that got some CRM functionality added to it. And they keep on building more crazy stuff into MailChimp that I don't like landing page builders that really look like crap. And ActiveCampaign is a true marketing automation suite with good email functionality or really excellent email functionality, CRM, sales, support. It's in there, yeah. But it doesn't have, for example, landing page building in it. It does not try to be a complete all-in-one tool like our next tip, HubSpot. HubSpot is really the tool that is trying to be it all. From, as I mentioned at the beginning of this meetup, from building a landing page where people sign up, you have the HubSpot forms, people land in the CRM, the data is enriched in the CRM, emails are sent through HubSpot, workflows are managed through HubSpot, the sales team gets a lead score based on the HubSpot score in their CRM, then they start interacting with with the leads that have the highest score, then they can close them. Once they are closed, you have the HubSpot support system with ticketing and everything, and you really have this true all-in-one experience. And if you don't mind the $600 per month, where the good version of HubSpot starts in my mind, but there are many incentives to start lower for the first year, and there is a light version that is highly limited, but it's all pretty reasonable. So an all-in-one solution is the right one for you if you can't be bothered with putting all of the best tools together and mixing and matching them with a tool like Zapier or Segment. And if you're like me, you probably prefer something like ActiveCampaign for yourself. But all three have their place. So I hope you like those picks. I'm really interested in what CRMs are you using. Please let me know in the comments what CRM you are currently using and how happy you are with it. So what a CRM does for you is the following. It can enrich the data. For example, here we have something from our Discord channel. We have a channel where we receive all the leads. I consciously said I don't want to share that personal information, but it was somebody from the domain lieblingstasche.de, favorite bag. And they signed up for this very meetup, for the Level Up Your Growth Marketing thing. And it was ticket number 68 out of 250, and it got a lead score of 67, which is pretty high. It's a scale from 1 to 100 provided by a tool, complete free implementation of Mad Kudu by Zapier. So Zapier has some limited free access to a very expensive lead scoring tool called Mad Kudu, and it gives you that. All you need is to share that domain with Zapier. So if somebody submits a form through ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, or HubSpot, you send it through Zapier, through the lead scoring system, and then it enriches that data in your CRM. It's absolutely amazing. But it tells you. It tells me that it's a company based in Germany, that it has medium traffic, that it has 30 people working in it, that it is in the software industry, which is a bit wrong because it's an online shop primarily, and that it uses some old technology. This lead score is not perfect, but it gives you a good start. And what you have to realize is that all the leads that are coming in, they are not created equal. And you really don't want to waste the time of your salespeople. It is very dangerous to just get in touch with everybody. First of all, they're not ready for it. They need to do some activity. And to have a lead score from a system that is based on external data is a good starting point. But then what you want to do is you want to roll your own system. For example, when somebody opens your email, that is like +1 point. If they click on a link in your email, it's +5 points. If they register for an event that you host, like a webinar, it's +20 points. And when they get inactive for 2 or 3 weeks, it's -3 points. And all those points start adding and subtracting, and you have a nice and dynamic system where you can see these are the leads who are really active and engaged and who are worth being more proactive about, and start hunting, as I mentioned before in the video part before. And I love the lead scoring tool by Zapier. I thought you'd like it too, and pushing it into a channel like Slack or Discord is really a nice, fun add-on. So how does this look like? In this case, I used Zapier. Zapier is a marketing automation tool, which is quite cheap, that helps you just to integrate all of those tools smoothly. So if you don't have the all-in-one solution, or even with HubSpot, I'm still using Zapier because there are many things I want to add to HubSpot and get out of HubSpot into other systems. So what happens here? If somebody goes to my workshop landing page and they decide they want to have a call about the workshops here, they have to go through a system with Calendly where they can choose a time slot and book a meeting with me. Then they are, of course, getting added after I have their consent to ActiveCampaign. And then we are also creating a deal, because this step of asking for for a time slot about the workshops, it's such a high indicator of willingness to buy that we already create a deal and active campaign for it. And then we want to be aware of that. And so we send it to Discord. So we get a big message which says, bam, somebody signed up and wants to have a chat. And Matti and I are being tagged in that. So we are definitely aware that somebody showed such a high level of interest. And because I'm a nerd, I always put it into Google Analytics as well. So I can keep tabs on my dashboard and see how many people per week are actually requesting calls. So I will think you will love Zapier. It is probably the most versatile and fun tool in the whole list today. Cool. Then, after you have built a relationship with your people through having a CRM, having them there, being knowledgeable about who they are, sending them regular messages, for example, through email, you want to do something else. You want to ask them for feedback. You want to ask them, do they like this? Do they like that? You will see at the end of this meetup that we are all using Slido to create an NPS score for how do you like this meetup here. And NPS is a system that it is pretty rough to get a high score here. It's a scale from negative 100 to plus 100. So a 50 is already a pretty high score. It doesn't need to be always the 100. So everybody who votes for a 0 to a 6 is called a detractor. And that means those are people who are not only going to be neutral about your brand, they might even tell somebody that you suck. Yeah. The 7 and 8 score is people who are like, yeah, I'm not super excited about this, but they're fine. And 9 and 10 in this system is those are your promoters. It's called the net promoter score. You want to get as many people into this promoter area as possible. What do you need to do for that? You need to deliver a kick-ass product experience. And then those are being counted together, and the neutrals, they're just being avoided. The negatives one are actually being subtracted from the promoters, and that's why you end up with the 53%. It is 75%, 65%, negative 12. Yeah, and that's how the NPS score of 53 ends up here. So why is this cool? There are many tools who help you to do this, and even if you roll it manually like this here, you can calculate it with this thing. I even saw Christina using it today. She's sitting right over there when we evaluated the feedback from the conversion rate optimization workshop today. So what kind of feedback tools are we using here? I think Google Forms is the simplest free choice to make. Typeform is by far the best user experience and much better for tracking. I really love Typeform. I even put it in as an example here. I was never excited about forms until I saw Typeforms. The mobile experience is even better than the desktop experience. So check them out. If you're in a WordPress environment, there is pretty much a Typeform clone for WordPress called WP Forms. They have those nice conversational interfaces. They're not cheap at all, but forums and getting feedback from your customer is so worth it. Then we have something called Hotjar, a tool that I not only use for feedback, but also at a later point when we talk about analytics tools to get people through the customer journey. But Hotjar has an implemented NPS scoring system. So you have a little pop-up on your website, which tells you here, how likely would you recommend this to a friend? Or you can ask questions or ask for simple feedback on that with smileys. So Hotjar is really great at getting feedback in a web environment. So those are the tools I wanted to share with you that really help me to engage the customer. It's one step further from acquisition. Acquisition is only the first part. Now it's about earning and building the trust and getting them to not only consume your content, but to give back. Yeah, it's by far the hardest thing. So these tools have provided me with the best bang for buck on the engaging your customers. If you like this so far, do me a favor, go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Maybe leave a like and a comment on this video. Tell me what you liked so far and tell me what kind of tools you have been using to engage your customers. Yeah, maybe you have something completely different that we can share with the community, which would be really awesome. And again, also in the Q&A section, if you want to hang out with us after the meetup, I will enter a voice channel on Discord, and we can all hang out there and talk a little bit. We are all a bit deprived of human connections in this pandemic phase of the world. And if you want to hop in, it will also be available after the meetup in between them. And you can always ask your questions to the community and myself and the team, and we will help you with your growth marketing stuff. I'm absolutely committed to having a vibrant community there, and I hope to see you on Discord. Cool. The last part of this series is the following: tools to analyze and optimize the customer journey. And this might be my favorite part, of course, because it gives me ideas. It tells me what is working and what is not working. It is often the most important step to have clarity. All of those analytics tools are to me like a flashlight in a dark room. If I don't have that flashlight, I can maybe believe there is a black cat in this dark room. Yeah, pray for it. But I really prefer the scientific method by taking a flashlight, pointing it a direction, see, oh, there is no black cat. Let's point in that direction. Oh, there's a black cat. Yeah, let's go more in that direction and less in that. So this is the kind of tools that we're going to use are the ones that we're going to talk about in this part of this meetup. The absolute basic thing I want to get is to understand what the hell are my customers doing and where are they from. We had a complete meetup about Google Analytics. If you want to drop into that, we can maybe leave a link in the comments for that and in the Discord. So what you want to do is to analyze what they're doing, and you can see this in Google Analytics quite easily. Let me zoom in. This is, by the way, the top channel chart. If you go to acquisition and there to overview, acquisition overview, there you can see this, one of the very few charts that have actually some color in it. And this is divided into 3 sections: acquisition, behavior, and conversions. And acquisition means where they're coming from, behavior, how engaged are they, and conversion, are they doing what I want them to do? Yeah, for example, signing up, getting a ticket, purchasing something. Here you can see it is sorted by the amount of users who have come to pirateskills.com. This is real data from PirateSkills. And most of people just type in pirateskills.com. Those are the direct ones. The next biggest traffic source is social. So I should be doing more social. Organic search is not bad as well. Referral could need some more love, but especially email. Yeah, email seems to have not that much traffic, but let's see how the engagement is. Now we can see the email. There's this line here, this to this to this. You can see while it has very little traffic, it has by far the most conversions, most e-commerce conversions of all the channels. So this teaches me people who are committed enough to enter my email list, which is free, they are then much more interested after a certain period of time of trust building to buy something or to join the upcoming events. Of course, there is a big selection bias in this statement. People who have come from social media may have not ever heard of me, while people who have made the commitment to sign up to the email list maybe have heard of me several times already. So take that into consideration. So this is what Google Analytics gives me on that front. The second most important analytics tool has become Facebook Analytics. I was really surprised by that because it used to suck. It was barely usable. The pixel, everything worked, but the analytics part was bad. But up to like a mix panel, yeah, which is a tool that is pretty popular with mobile apps and with software as a service, web SaaS software businesses, and it's quite expensive. There was no tool that really gave me a good view on the customer journey in this kind of step-by-step funnel visualization like we can see here, where I can see how many people are actually dropping off after which step. And this is what Facebook does better than anybody else. And one of the reasons for that is that that Facebook always thinks in users, in unique users. Essentially, when you consent to using the Facebook, to accepting the Facebook pixel on any website, your Facebook ID is being transmitted with every action you take. Every page you visit, everything you click is being connected to this, everything you buy. And it doesn't matter on which website you are, if you switch your mobile device to your desktop, to your iPad, you will be tracked as that one person. Yeah, except you have really weird family situations with a shared iPad and you use the iPhone of your girlfriend and something of that. Okay, that's not going to work. But for 99% of cases, this is going to be fine. And what are we looking at here? And again, this is something that only Facebook can do. This is the conversion funnel of the people who have posted a comment on any kind of post, who then visited the website and who then purchased something. And I can see this nicely divided by age group. And you can see that the age group of 25 to 34 is the best one because it has a good chunk, not the most, but a good chunk of the comments, more than the average on the page views, but most of the purchases. Yeah, so that helps me again understand my users better, and I really love Facebook Analytics for that. Then, now we already mentioned 2 analytics pixels you're supposed to install on your website and your mobile app. This gets messy really quick. I usually have the Twitter ads pixel installed. I have the LinkedIn ads pixel installed. I have Google Optimize installed and HubSpot tracking and Active Campaign tracking. And it gets out of hand. And there is a tool called Google Tag Manager, which helps you to just keep all of those pixels in one place. Another alternative I already mentioned in the beginning, it was called Segment. It's a more developer-friendly, more integrated tool. Segment is, yeah, but Google Tag Manager is really usable by most marketers who have a little bit of technical affinity, but there is no need to code to use this. You just install it like Google Analytics on your website, but now you can add additional tracking pixels and keep on using the same triggers to fire them. Let's say you have a trigger for the form submission of a lead magnet. You don't want to rebuild that again and again for Twitter, for Facebook, for Google, for LinkedIn. No, you just say, this is the trigger in Google Tag Manager. And now here are 3, 4, 5, 6 pixels based on that trigger. 5 minutes of work to add another pixel on a given trigger. Yeah, so really like the Google Tag Manager for that kind of fun. And to sum this up, the 3 analytics tools I pretty much have installed by default is Google. It is just the best neutral, across all channels, neutral tracking solution for web analytics, starting to be pretty good for app as well through Firebase. Then we have Facebook Analytics. And if you are using any kind of paid traffic, not having the respective analytics suite installed and a tracking pixel costs you 50% of your marketing budget. I promise. Yeah. So if you're doing Facebook and Instagram ads, it's mandatory to use Facebook Analytics, or to at least have the Facebook pixel installed in a way that you can see the results in the Ads Manager. Same for Google, same for Pinterest, same for any ad tool there is out there. Google Tag Manager to do everything. But what you're going to do now? Now you have data, but how do you get to ideas that actually make a difference? For that, you need a tool like Hotjar. Hotjar helps you to do heat maps, which shows you where people are clicking on your websites. They actually do screen recordings where it feels like you can watch over the shoulder, and it does great form tracking. I made a screenshot for Google Optimize. I'm going to show you in a second, but let me talk about Hotjar. This tool, if you can get it through your data privacy people in your company and people actively consent to use it, it is such a treasure for all the user experience people in your team and for yourself, of course, if you're the main guy. Note analytics tools, the ones above, they tell me that something is wrong, that there is a bottleneck, but Hotjar gives me lots of ideas of what's wrong. Yeah, because I can look at user behavior. It's fascinating, no end. And now from Hotjar, now I get ideas. For example, I see they do not interact really well with my cookie banner. Yeah, or they do not seem to understand my call to actions. Now I can use a tool like Google Optimize to change the user experience without any code and do an A/B test and get the results. Is that call to action better than this? Is this cookie banner, does it have a higher consent rate than this? And we talked about this at length in the last meetup about personalization, so feel free to check that one out. All right, those are the main topics I wanted to talk to you about. The strategy behind it, yeah, the smooth integration, harmony between the tools, focus on learning, and then the ability to acquire, engage, and analyze customers, which leaves us a lot of time in the next video segment when we go into the Q&A and we answer all of your questions. Stay up for that. So if you like this at all so far, again, do me a favor, and if you want to give anything back, leave me a sub on YouTube, give me a like on the video, and maybe a comment. I would absolutely appreciate that. We now use the time to get some feedback before we go into the Q&A. And we used to have this great physical treasure chest box because we really feel like your feedback is the treasure that helps us to make this meetup as good as possible for you. And this is why we now are going to start on Slido a poll. Let me press the poll button. And now if you go to Slido, let me switch there. You can see that we have the NPS score. How likely would you recommend this event to a friend or colleague? Somebody just voted a 10. Thank you very much for that. You can be as harsh as you like. Yeah, we also have a part after this where we ask you for ideas on how you would improve it. So please go to slido.com, put in the code R, and give me some votes on there so we know how good this meetup has been compared to the other ones. If you do this regularly with your email campaigns, with your different products, with your different salespeople, then you will very quickly get an idea of what is working and what is not working. And please already start thinking about ideas on what would make this meetup more helpful to you. What are maybe 2 or 3 very concrete things that if we did that, that would make it better. For example, more people ask for these live interaction polls, so we are now doing it more frequently. So first of all, thank you everybody who have voted so far. I will keep this vote up, but I will now start the topic questions, yeah, where I'm asking you for your suggestions about what to improve. Let me do this right now. All right. You see that in the lower right corner, lower left corner, you can add ideas now. If you want to go back to the poll, you can just click on the poll and you will go back. And we'll look at the NPS results in a moment. But let me know, what would you change? Christina, what was something that people really wanted to change from the last few meetups? Do you remember anything that comes top to mind?
There were several ones that were quite different. Some wanted more questions.
More questions.
Live in the stream with you.
Yeah, I remember that one. So would you be interested in being able to ask questions live during this meetup so that we can see your face maybe or hear your voice in the Q&A section. If that is interesting to you, pick it up. But I will keep this I will keep this topic area up for a little bit so you have a time to add some of your ideas. And again, you can upvote those ideas. Let's look back at the poll, just for me, for curiosity's sake. How do I get back to the poll? I don't know. Here we go. Let's see the live poll. So 12 of you have voted. You can see that we have an average score of 9.5. 13 of you have voted. Nobody has yet submitted an idea. Oh, there's the first one. Provide checklists, e.g. for growth marketing strategy in social media. Very nice idea. And in the past, whenever we did checklists, Christina, would you mind closing the window? It's getting really crazy stormy here at the moment, so it's a bit wild. Whenever we did downloadable checklists, we got really good feedback on that, so thank you for that one. I will definitely consider doing more of that. Let's go back to the pretty version of it. That. Here we go. I now try to create the slides in a way that they are clickable, that they have checklists in them. This is why I made, for example, these summary slides for you. And I hope you appreciate that stuff. So thank you for your ideas and votes. We will keep it up a little bit longer. And let's get into the Q&A. So welcome to the Q&A section about the growth marketing stack. We have many questions in the pipeline. If you watch this later, you always have the chance with the next meetup to go to slido.com, enter the code R and ask your own questions about it. We set it up quite early, but let's look into the questions that we have seen. If you want to add your question, if you're watching this live, go to slido.com, #R. And now we look at the question and start to answering them. We see that we have the poll running right now, and we need to go back to the questions. Show the Q&A. We have 12 questions for this segment, and feel free to upvote more of them. So the questions are not only meant for me. Please feel free to answer in your own way in the Discord channels or in the comments wherever you're watching this. But let's dig into the first question. What's your favorite tool for lead generation? That's a pretty broad question, but I'll try to answer it as good as I can. For lead generation, I would say Instapage and any tool that easily helps me to create engaging landing pages with a simple, here is a lead magnet, I want your contact data, tool. Outgrow is, I would say, the tool that has the most power in terms of interactivity. Here we have it open. It helps me to create assessments and surveys and all that fun stuff. Typeform, building surveys on Typeforms, incredibly powerful to generate leads. I've never seen a more performant lead magnet than a personality test that I use for one of my bigger clients. They developed it over there. I'm not taking credit for that at all, but we really optimized the flow and the tracking and the campaigns that went there. We are talking about 2,000 leads coming in per day. Yeah, so tests, surveys, personalities, wow, that really works great. These are my favorite tools for lead generation. Okay, next question. The best CRM for long sales cycles. So there is only one function your CRM needs so that you can track it through a long time, and it's called first source. We're not interested only in where people came from just before they converted or they sent an offer. We want to know where we got in touch with them, and if possible, some steps in between. So in HubSpot, they always have this first source field. So let's say you do a Facebook ad or LinkedIn ads. Let's talk about LinkedIn ads because long sales cycle tend to be only in B2B. So you target CEOs looking for financial reporting tools, and you have a long sales cycle because there is a big decision process involved with financial tools usually. So you make a LinkedIn ad and you promise them, hey, here is a checklist of the 10 most important aspects a financial reporting tool has to have. Please leave me your name, your email, your company name, your company size. Here you go. Now they land in your CRM. Let's call it HubSpot or ActiveCampaign. Those would be the most appropriate ones for long-term sales cycles. Now there needs to be a field that has never been touched again called First Source that attributes the campaign on LinkedIn to creating that lead in your system. You're never sure if they have not already been in contact with you through your content marketing, but you have to make some sacrifices at some point. Now, if a customer has a 3 to 6 month life cycle, you keep in touch with them. All of the emails, all of the offers are being tracked through HubSpot and ActiveCampaign, for example. And you can see every step a customer did. I could go into ActiveCampaign and look at my own history for, I guess, like 1.5 years and see everything, every email that I opened, every link that I clicked, every website that I visited, every form that I submitted, every event that I went to. Yeah, and then I can see this history after the person has been actually closed as a final deal that is with a signed contract. And then you can go back and you can see similarities in the first source and the other touch points that were necessary for people to convert. And then you will see structures and patterns. And you can see, I need to drive more people into the email newsletter because that's the place where I can build relationships. I need to contact more people on LinkedIn because people who have been handpicked and hunted by me on LinkedIn, sorry for using the word hunting in that context. I just love sales and that is just common wording in that area. Those people have a very high probability to convert and their customer lifetime value is great in long term. That's enough. You need to see the first source and the history. And most CRMs do this. For example, MailChimp doesn't. So I would go for an ActiveCampaign, maybe a Salesforce, and if you need a lot of other marketing and content marketing stuff, HubSpot. Yeah, this would be my recommendation. Cool. So if you have any suggestions regarding the answers to those questions, feel free to add them in the comments and on Discord. We really love seeing your opinions. It's not only my voice that counts, it's a community effort. Yeah, but I will give my best to answer it as conscionably as possible. All right, next question. Any perfect tool to define, analyze target groups for Facebook ads? Yes, there are. There is the built-in Facebook Audience Insights, but I guess you're already familiar with that. For those who are not familiar with the Audience Insights tool, if you have a free Google Ads account, you can go to the menu in the top left corner and go to Audience Insights. And you can enter a country, an age group, interests, and then you get a lot of suggestions of what this segment of the audience that you just selected likes in terms of different pages, magazines, cars, clothing brands, toothpastes, politicians, and you get a pretty clear picture of what your customer is. This is quite extensive. Yeah, it even goes as far as relationship status, education level. When I open this with a client, I always say the words like, this is the reason why Facebook is for free. Yeah, because our data, it's the product for marketers like us. Not meaning to scare you with that. But what I actually wish would exist is a tool that has like a complete list of all the interest groups and that lists them properly, and where I can select and compose highly associated interest groups that are maybe even correlated with campaign success. That would be my ideal tool. If you know one of those, please let me know. Otherwise, I would suggest using the audience insights from Facebook. Cool. So the next question is, oh yeah, I'm gonna check this one off immediately. How excited about the iMac release? Incredibly excited, you wouldn't believe. What tech skills are needed for the best of breed approach? Cheers. Okay. Tech skills, I would say the general affinity for tech, that you're not scared of tech, is the biggest prerequisite. I always see that people are really actively scared to try new products. They wait for the Excel spreadsheet trainer to come in and teach them about Excel instead of just going to Google and solving that problem for yourself. So if you have that mindset of just learning shit for yourself, then you're a good candidate for the best of breed approach. What you should also understand are tools like Zapier. Zapier makes it so easy to connect the isolated data points from, let's say, a MailChimp to a shop system, to a Discord, to social media, to Google Form, to Google Analytics. It teaches you to think in this best of breed way very much. So dig into Zapier, and it is so user-friendly that you will pick up some technical skills on the background. If you want to go a bit deeper, you would be interested in, there is a universal communication system between apps, which is called webhooks. And it's a prerequisite for most of those automations. A webhook is what developers built into a tool that if a certain URL is being visited and it has some parameters on it, the information in those parameters will tell the tool to do something, to save a lead, to open something up, to delete something, to change a certain field. And if you're interested in that, look into webhooks. I think they make you incredibly flexible. If you understand how webhooks work and how you can transfer data between tools with them, because even the tools that are not being supported by Zapier usually have support for webhooks. Yeah, and then you can build all the crazy stuff for yourself. So 3 levels: affinity for tech and not being afraid to learn for yourself, Zapier, webhooks. All right. Next question is, what would be your first steps if you quit 9 to 5 and start as a digital marketing expert growth marketeer, if you're already experienced in digital marketing? Whoo, love that question. Who is that from? I'm really curious. Let me know later who you are. What would I do? What would be the first steps? I can tell you what I did and what I would do again and what I would change. 4 years ago, I was on company number 6 or 7 and I already practiced a lot of growth marketing. I started with SEO, got into SEA, search engine marketing, Facebook ads, analytics, landing page building, app building, that kind of stuff. And I was in a funded startup and I quit 2 years in. And then I was suddenly free. And by the way, my wife was pregnant and I just quit my job pretty much. What I did is I looked around for 2 to 3 months to really see, what do I want to do? What am I interested in? And when I found that out for myself, which niche within growth marketing, which is huge, yeah, I found that nerdy marketing, that's my thing. Very data driven, very analytical marketing, that's it. And then I started to visit events that went into that area, like meetups, for example. But I couldn't find the one that was quite right for me. The next best one was in Essen, and that was simply too far for me to travel from Cologne every week or every month. So I started my own meetup series. This is how Pirates got started. And this decision to start this meetup and to continually host at least one meetup per month consistently for 4 years, that was such a game changer for me. And it was a game changer from day one. It was not that I needed to do this for a year before anybody noticed. The first meetup was with 50 people. Yeah, that was really crazy. And of course, we are already a bit experienced growth marketers, so you are your own marketer. So use that. What I would change is I would, from day one, and even before that, start focusing stronger on LinkedIn, on content marketing on LinkedIn. I would absolutely commit to writing one article per week on my subject matter on LinkedIn and to create one video per week and post that on YouTube from day one. With 0 subscribers, 0 followers, I was doing that. Nothing gives you the credibility like that over time. Let me just show you the impact this had on me. If you go to pirateskills.com, yeah, let's go there, and you check out the free videos and slides, the main call to action you can click. You can see, oh yeah, here, cool, there are some interesting subjects. But if you scroll down, you can see, oh, he does not only talk about A/B testing and personalization, he talks about video content creation, Instagram ads, Google Analytics demystified, Corona marketing survival, automation for busy marketers. You see, it's always this, let's do nerdy marketing stuff. Yeah, that is my consistent line because that's what I love. But you see this back catalog, and every time I have a meetup, this increases the credibility for me being a good resource to learn growth marketing about. Yeah, so this goes back to September 4th, and you have a video and a slide deck for every single meetup since then. So generating, first of all, writing the content, creating the videos, and then building this awesome resource for your audience, and to keep on learning and getting feedback and asking them for ideas on what you can do better actively, online and offline. That's what I would do from day one. Hope that answers your question. Oh yeah, maybe one more thing. All the things I'm doing, including the meetup, my egoistical reason to do this is that nothing helps me to become a better growth marketer than this here. Working with my clients is at least as valuable for me as for them. I learned something new. It's for me like just getting the chance to play another chess game, getting better. Having to explain a concept like this structures my mind. My main ambition is to become the best growth marketer I can be. The meetup is a convenient tool to force myself to do something valuable for my community every month, now twice a month since the pandemic, because I'm just getting bored in the second half of the month. Not that I don't have anything else to do, but I wanted to see what happens if I do 2 events per month. By the way, I would really like to know, how do you like it that we are now doing 2 events per month compared to 1? That's my main motivation. Get fucking good at what you want to do and talk about it. Talk about your journey of getting better. I always share my fuck ups. We even have a dedicated slot in our publishing pipeline once a month where I share my fuck ups. Yeah. So enjoy that process as well and have fun with it. Okay. Next question. What do you think about ClickFunnels and building landing pages for building landing pages in funnel? From Tim Rabe. Thank you for the question, Tim. The honest question is, I think the founder behind ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, is the marketer I personally would want to learn the most from. It's the only guy I would spend the $20,000 to join a mastermind for. Russell Brunson is to me really a leader in that whole funnel community. And he's a sales guy who learned marketing really good, but he's not a product person. He's not a designer, and he's definitely not a techie. And you notice that in ClickFunnels, it is tech-wise awfully. If you look at the code and the page speed with which those landing pages load, it's just horrible. The design looks like any other American online marketing douchebag. And I try to stay away from that image as far as possible. But if you put in some love and restrict some of the crazy stuff that is being loaded in the background and do some good design work, ClickFunnels can be a good all-in-one tool, yeah, for you. But personally, it's not for me. So the next question is, how far will the Google Analytics functionality suffer from the recent privacy cookie restrictions? Very good question, Sven. It is all now a game of cookie consent optimization. In the good old times, we used to do landing page optimization. Now we optimize the conversion rate in which people opt into our cookies. I would say if you have a cookie in the lower corner and people can, in the lower side of your website or the top, and people can use your website without making a decision concerning cookies, you will have about a 5% opt-in rates to Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, LinkedIn, any pixel. And your analytics is dead. You could just deinstall Google Analytics from your profile. But if you have a centralized cookie banner that is bold and helps people to make a decision, then you have a 60% and above opt-in rate to all cookies. I've seen as high as 90%. And I would say above 80%, it doesn't matter anymore. We used to have a pretty large numbers of people who have cookie blockers installed, especially if you're in a more techie environment. There you have like 20% of people who are suppressing cookies at least. But as long as I get consistently 60 to 80% of all people tracked, I'm cool, I'm fine. I can just multiply my results by 1.5, for example. I always compare what does Google Analytics say, but what, for example, does my server log say? What does the Facebook pixel say about my sales? And what does the Shopify or my bookkeeper say what I make? And as long as there is a consistent relationship, Facebook pixel tells me 10,000, bookkeeping tells me 15,000, then I know I can just multiply my Facebook ad results by 1.5. It's not perfect, but we will get through it. And I actually think, like, after this meetup, you're probably, if you have not been as deep as some other people into the online marketing scene, you were surprised by the options and possibility and how crazy we are getting tracked today. It's a good thing. We have to get people to consent actively and to make that decision to be tracked. And I think the better personalization gets, the more people will do consent to your cookies, because websites are just going to be stupid if you are not consenting, because you're going to be retargeted by ads that are irrelevant for you because you already bought the product. You get still the same old lead magnets shown to you, even though you could be showing the second, third tier of lead magnets, and you're missing out on that. you are not getting the benefit of the A/B test and personalization due to your gender, interest groups, age, etc. So I hope people will see over time the benefits of consenting, and we will get into a decent 60 to 80% opt-in rate on all pages. As I said, with Ball Labs Cookie, they track the opt-in rates and which things the user have decided. On Pirate Skills, I'm currently at about 65%, and I think I can get it up to 80%. All right, next questions. What's your point of view on podcast? Would it make sense for you too? I used to have a podcast, so I might be qualified to talk about it. A podcast is quite a commitment. It's similar to a YouTube channel. If you don't take it seriously and if you don't go for it and publish a podcast on a weekly basis, don't. But if you're willing to do this, this is also only the first part. Remember, nobody subscribed to you on YouTube or on the podcast platforms. You need to first publish the content, and then you need to push that content through your other channels. But podcasts have one really magic effect. There is by far and beyond no other content type where people will lend you so much time. I'm absolutely willing to listen to half an hour podcast. No problem. It's even short. I listen to 2-hour Tim Ferriss podcast every day. Yeah. But I would never spend that time on video or on social media posts, for example. So podcast is an incredible way, an auditory way to get acquainted, to build a lot of trust with your customers. It's also a great vehicle to connect with other experts in your niche. So you can interview them, you can get to know them, you can position them as expert, which they like, but which also benefits you a lot. So I love podcasts, and once I'm happy with our focus on YouTube, I'm going to start one again. All right, last 3 questions. Is the availability for a tool on iPad and mobile a criteria? Yes, I was so happy that when I found out that ActiveCampaign had an iOS app, or that Facebook Ads has a decent iOS app. It is a criteria for me. For content creation, I want Canva to be available mobile and on desktop. It even has additional functionality on mobile because it uses the iOS API for animations, for example. It is definitely a plus. Depending on your lifestyle, if you're very mobile, then obviously this becomes more and more important. I also mistrust companies who have not gotten on the mobile train yet, who missed out on that chance. I just don't get it. Yeah, so I kind of mistrust them if they don't. They don't necessarily have to have a native iOS app, but they have to have an excellent web app. Yeah, that is 80% where their desktop install app is. Yeah, so that's enough for me. Okay. Last 2 questions. Let's check off Salesforce. Yeah, Salesforce is good. I recently had a subscription to Salesforce to try it out again. It's cheaper than I thought. It was capable, but I would go for Pipedrive. Yeah, if I would have to make that choice again. Go away. Any tools for managing hashtags? Yes, there is one called Hashtagify. It's really great. You can manage your hashtags there. You can see the trends of hashtags. You get associated hashtags on Hashtagify. It is focused on Instagram, so I think Hashtagify is more focused on Twitter. There are for each platform different hashtag tools. So be aware that hashtags do not work across platforms. Maybe basic hashtags, but there's a lot of hashtag culture on specific platforms that you need to be aware about that are not included in all tools. So that is a good starting point. And then go to YouTube and ask, enter best hashtag tools, and you will be littered with comparisons, yeah, which is quite helpful. This is how I discover my hashtag tools or any other tools that I like. Sometimes I also like to go to Product Hunt, and there are some tool aggregation websites, like the marketing tech thing that we saw with the big landscape of all tech tools. Cool. All right. That was the last question. Guys, that was awesome. Let's go back to the slides. So the upcoming meetup is going to be on July 1st. First Wednesday of the month happens to be the 1st. It's going to be about building a solid growth strategy. If you want to get a free ticket, go to getpiratesgoods.com/grow-strategy. And what our plan is there is to take a case study and to really start from the beginning. Where are they at? How would I build a growth strategy for this business? And I try to make it as applicable for all of you guys. But I think that we need to go much further into this case study format for the meetups to keep on having value. We can talk 10 times about Instagram ads if we have 10 very distinct case studies, and it will be much more concrete and substantial for you. And we can try B2C cases and B2C cases and software as a service against e-commerce, against mobile app businesses. It's going to be very much fun. I'm probably going to have one case study and have one loop for 12 weeks, which is 6 meetups where we focus on that one case studies through the different content segments. This would be, the next one is the growth roadmap. How do we build a growth roadmap? Then we would do case study. Then we would take those insights and say like, okay, what did the strategy say about content marketing? What kind of funnels do we need? How would the data setup look like for this? How would a paid advertising strategy look? And how would we do conversion optimization for that case study? Then we would do a similar loop for a completely different case study. So if you're interested in becoming one of those case studies, please send me a message. We are currently sourcing some, and I'm hoping to tell you about the first case study really soon. All right, if you want to go deeper with this stuff, we have actual workshops which also happen always before the meetup. We have a full day workshop. You get all the information on growth.piratesgoods.com, and there we go deep into, for example, today we went deep into A/B testing on landing pages, emails, and ads. Yeah, and you can learn analytics, you can learn landing page building and funnel building there. It's quite a comprehensive how do I become a better growth marketer workshop series. Yeah, so check that out. All right, that's it from me. That was really fun. I thank you very much for your feedback again, and I hope to see you on the next meetup on July 1st. We will upload all of those videos and have them at getpiratesgoods.com/marketing-stack. See you then. Bye bye.